New OTB Sports app. It's all videos, sports news, live scores, interviews, podcasts, all waiting for you. Search OTB Sports on your app store and download now.
Bosch. Appliances you can rely on. For peace of mind, choose from Bosch's 5-year warranty range of cooking, laundry and refrigeration. For more information, go to powercity.ie.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power. As obnoxiously passionate about soccer as Frank Lampard after the final whistle. Gamble responsibly. See dunlewy.net.
You're welcome back. It is Thursday's Off the Ball, a 7:45 kickoff in Sofia for Bulgaria against the Republic of Ireland. We'll have full coverage throughout the evening. Stewie Byrne is going to be back in studio with us, and John Giles is on the line right now. Evening, John.
Evening, Nathan.
A reminder of the 11 then, just announced in the past hour or so. Darren Randolph in goals, no Seamus Coleman. Matt Doherty will start at right back. Shane Duffy will captain the side alongside John Egan in the centre defence, with Enda Stevens at left back. A midfield three of James McCarthy in the middle, Conor Howard to the left and Jeff Hendrick just to the right. And then we expect it'll be Callum O'Dowda on the right-hand side, Aaron Connolly on the left-hand side, and 19-year-old Adam Ida will make his debut up front. What's your initial reactions to that side, John?
Well, it's different anyway, Nathan. I wouldn't be in favour of Coleman being out and Doherty in. I like Doherty. I think he's a terrific player, Nathan. But I would have Coleman in.
Doherty obviously has got his big move this week as a reward for the form he's been in, and there'd be a feeling that he's probably been the form Irish player over the last year in the Premier League. Is that what Stephen Kenny is doing here? He's rewarding foreign players, that even the captain isn't indispensable?
Well, obviously he thinks that Doherty can do the best job tonight, Nathan. But you'd have to look over the whole season and say, well, Coleman, he had one or two patches he wasn't so good, but he's proven himself at international level. He's proven himself at club level. Doherty is yet to prove himself at international level, Nathan. That's my take.
I guess the difficulty for Doherty is he hasn't had a chance because Seamus Coleman has had a pretty tight hold on that jersey for the last 7 or 8 years. Yeah,
well, that's all the more reason to play him, in my opinion. I like Doherty. I think he's a very, very good player. He's a different type of fullback to Coleman. I think he's more likely to score goals than Coleman. He's more likely to get forward than Coleman. Is he a better defender than Coleman? I don't think so. But obviously Stephen sees it his way, and I hope it works out. But the rest of the team is new. A lot of it, the lads up front are new. O'Dowd is in the team. What we're going to do in midfield, we'll have to wait and see. McCarthy hasn't played for a long time at international level. Hopefully he'll be back and be a better player than he was when he last played. Hendrick in the midfield, Horahan. It'll be interesting to watch, Nathan. I don't know because we haven't seen them play before, but he's made a good few changes. It's definitely not a defensive team, that's for sure. No. So hopefully it'll work out.
Just on the Coleman-Doherty dynamic then, pretty much day one when he got the job and it was confirmed he was getting the job for this run of games, Stephen Kenny, he was asked about the captaincy and said, Seamus Coleman is my captain. Seamus Coleman was at the press conference last night as the captain, and I think most people would agree there's probably no better character in the game than Seamus Coleman, yet still he will be desperately upset, I'm sure, not to be in the team. Is there any level of risk in a personnel way with not playing your captain and someone you've talked up as your captain?
No, I don't think so. I think if, come the weekend, Coleman could be back in the team, and like any player, any person, you don't like to be left out, Nathan, but you're a pro. There's things you think shouldn't happen, happens, and you get on with it. And I think if Seamus does play on Sunday, he'll be out to prove that Stephen was wrong in leaving him out of the team. So I wouldn't have any problem about that. I think Seamus is a terrific character, and I think Doherty is as well. It's the manager's choice, and the fact that he said what he said last week was last week. And Seamus won't be any worse a captain if he plays than he has been in the past. He's just a good character, and he'd be very disappointed tonight, like all players would be. But I wouldn't. He certainly won't hold it against Stephen in any way if he is picked for the next match.
There's obviously been any amount of talk about Stephen Kenny and style of football and a potential change of style of football from what we've seen, certainly since the Trapattoni era, where by and large Ireland haven't been a team who passed the ball around, who looked comfortable in possession in any way, that Stephen Kenny, that's something he's going to implement, that Ireland are going to try and play football on the front foot and attack teams. He's had 2 training sessions this week. Is it unrealistic to expect a dramatic change in how Ireland play?
I'd be doubtful. With the best will in the world from Stephen's point of view, to have the players to do it. Now, we'll see tonight anyway. I think to have the right attitude and an attacking attitude, it wasn't the way I approached the game. Now, I'm not saying that's right either, but my take was, well, look, we have to defend when we haven't got the ball. We have to attack when we have the ball. There wasn't a style to it. There was this is what we have to do. This is what we have to do in individuals. And only giving you my take on when I was manager, who are the best players? Who are the best players that we've got? We paid to put the best players on the pitch, and then it's up to us to do what we want to do. There wasn't a style about it. You see, if you say to the players, look, we're going to attack, right? Now, and the opposition manager says, we're going to attack. You can't have 2 people attacking at the same time, because you've got to get the ball and you've got to do various things, regardless of what you do. Now, there are managers who won't attack when they have the opportunity to attack, which is a different thing altogether.
Well, sorry, is that what we've had for the last few campaigns? Have we had managers who actually didn't want to attack? Or am I being harsh there on Mick McCarthy and Martin O'Neill? Or did they not have the players to attack?
Well, no, I never agreed with that. I mean, when you go back on Martin O'Neill's, when he first came in, Nathan, we did qualify for a major competition, and Martin was regarded as a hero. It didn't last. I always felt with Martin there were certain situations where we gave the opposition a bit too much credit, and we didn't take the game on its merits. But he did get to major competition for us, doing what he did. And Mick was doing okay as well. Trapattoni was the same. Don't forget, Trapattoni was a hero at one stage for the things that he did. And if you're in it long enough, then you're going to be a loser, unfortunately, in football. So I don't think there's any one way of playing. You can say with the best will in the world before the match to the players, listen, lads, we're going out here to attack, right? But you have to go. What's the opposition going to do, Nathan? Say their manager said, now listen, lads, we're going out here to attack. So you have to take it on its merits. My idea of management when I played was, when we have the ball, we'd be as progressive as we possibly can, which means you're attacking, right? But when you don't have the ball, then you've got to defend, Nathan. You can't just say to players, right, we are going out to attack. What you can do is encourage players to express themselves, and hopefully take the fear away from them, and through doing that, it does help you to attack. But you can't do it as a tactic. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard managers before. What are we going to do? We're going to attack.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's expecting this to be Kevin Keegan at Newcastle, where you score 3, we'll score 4. But there's a definite, I think, feeling that particularly people who've gone to the Aviva Stadium a lot over the last 10 years, that lesser teams, or teams that we would have seen talent-wise should have been on a par with the Republic of Ireland, that they have tried to get the ball down and do the right thing, whereas more often than not, Ireland haven't. And it is that eternal debate of, well, do we have the players or do we not have the players, or is it actually what the managers are telling them to do?
Well, obviously a manager, I don't know, but I did feel with Martin when we played away from home that there was negative talk, and in my opinion, in that a draw would be a great result here. This is a good team. This is a good team. Nothing about us. And I think one of the matches we played early on, I think we went a goal up after 4 or 5
Serbia,
minutes.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Then we went 2-1 down, and then we started to attack again.
Yeah.
So that wasn't right, and that can happen with a manager if you don't encourage the players to, if you get one, to go for 2. But it's just a general thing. And I don't want to bore people, but I've always my attitude has always been, when as a player, as a manager, that when we have the ball, we're going to be as attack-minded and progressive as we possibly can be. And when we haven't got the ball, then we've got to get the ball back as best we possibly can. Now, that might sound very simple, but they're the basics of football. So, and I always said, and I know you people used to take the mickey out of me, say, take the game on its merits, because no matter what you have in your mind for the game, if you say to lads, listen, lads, we're going out here to attack, and the opposition is better than you, and you can't attack. You know, that's the way it goes in football. In other words, you be as progressive as you possibly can, and as progressive as the opposition allow you to be. You can't have preconceived ideas of. I mean, what you have to say is, look, we attack when we get any possibility to attack. We attack, and when we have to defend, if we have to defend for 90 minutes, we defend for 90 minutes. If that's the way the game goes. But I know from playing football, and a lot of people know from playing football, when you go out on the pitch, a lot of the things that you have in mind, I think, is going to happen. Doesn't happen, Nathan.
One of the issues in that, in terms of style of play, that Martin O'Neill, that was out of his hands, was that he didn't really have access to James McCarthy after Euro 2016. So everyone came home from France very excited about this midfield three of McCarthy, Hendrick and Brady. I think they played one game together since then because McCarthy's had so many injury problems. Stephen Kenny has talked him up again and again over the past few weeks as saying he should be the best Irish midfielder of his generation if it wasn't for the injuries. He's back tonight. He plays in the heart of that midfield.
Yeah. Has
he the ability by himself to change the way that Ireland approach a game like this?
I would doubt it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he goes out there and plays great tonight. But when he was fit and at his best, Nathan, he didn't do that. He didn't get on the ball and direct the Irish team at all. You know, and then he had a bad injury, but this is his first match back from that.
Yeah.
And I'm going, how I remember him was that he was okay. He got the ball from A to B, but he didn't dominate the game in a way that, if that's the way Stephen wants him to do, unless he's changed totally or improved a lot since he's had the injury, Nathan, and I hope he has. But I haven't seen that in him when he played, when he was supposedly at his peak. He was just okay, you know.
You'd often wonder watching him, like, is it a personality thing or a talent thing? Because it does seem as though he has all the talent there, but that his just nature is that he's not one of those commanding presences in midfield who's going to be a real leader in the middle of midfield. That he seems quite happy to just keep things ticking over, whereas maybe Ireland needs somebody a little bit stronger.
Well, you always need somebody a little bit stronger, but there's a difference between ability, Nathan, and playing with ability. You know, there's lots of players who have ability, but they don't have, and I go back to positional sense, to get on the ball in the field, to use their ability. Do you know what I mean? Like you see some of if you see some of the great players over the years. I mean, Pirlo, when he played for Italy, for example, it's like he could dictate the game and use the abilities had. If you put them against opposition, McCarthy and Pirlo, for an exercise of passing the ball here and passing without anybody on the pitch, McCarthy might be as well able to do it as Pirlo. But when you put him on a pitch and somebody's stopping you from playing, then it's a different game altogether. So having raw ability is fine. It is fine. But you have to have the ability to get the position to use that particular ability. And I didn't see McCarthy doing that. I never saw him impose himself on the game with the ability that a lot of people said he had. It's like you have to show the ability. I've seen lots of players, Nathan, that they wouldn't have had half the ability, maybe, of McCarthy, but impose themselves more on the game and on the pitch. That's where it matters. Now, you can do all the things on the training ground, and you can knock 40-yard passes, you can beat players, do all sorts of things. It's doing it on the pitch is the most important thing. And I haven't seen that, and I don't want to be too hard on the lad. I hope he comes out through his injury and becomes a better player and does all the things that we want a midfield player to do. But I just haven't seen it.
Yeah. What are you looking for tonight then? What are the key things that we should be looking out for in the game that suggests that Stephen Kenny has got some sort of a message across?
Now, what I'd love to see is the players expressing themselves as well as they possibly can when we have the ball, Nathan. In other words, getting on the ball, doing the best they can. Right now, you can't plan that. That's what a good manager does, which frees them to do that if they have the ability to do it, and hopefully they will. And I think as Stephen is giving them that freedom to go and play and get on the ball as best they possibly can. I think he's definitely doing that. So I'll keep my fingers crossed that they can do it. That's the big thing, because you don't know what the Bulgarian coach is saying or what they have. I don't know anything about them, unfortunately, but they might have really some top-class players that won't allow our players to do it. But I don't think it'll be for the sake of the players not being encouraged to do it.
Yeah.
Which there's a difference to it. I think Stephen will definitely encourage them to get on the ball and play it and go and attack when we possibly can. And what I'll do is I'll keep my fingers crossed for him that the players can do it. And what's happened in the past, I think we've had players who were capable of doing that but weren't allowed to do it. So that's what I think will be a difference with Stephen tonight. I think that he will encourage them to do it, and I just hope that they be good enough to do it, Nathan.
Well, we shall see. The teams are out on the pitch at the Vasilevsky Stadium in Sofia. Obviously, it is an empty stadium. The match has been played behind closed doors. Aaron Naveen currently playing. The Irish team, again, Randolph in goals. A back four of Doherty, Duffy, Egan and Stevens. In midfield, it's McCarthy, Hourahan and Hendrick. And a front three of Connolly and O'Dowd at either side of Adam Ida. John, you're going to be with us at half-time and full-time for your analysis, so we'll talk to you in a little while. Interesting decision, which I'm sure you're going to see when you start watching this on Sky Sports. Mick McCarthy is on co-commentary on Sky tonight, the man who thought he would be leading Ireland into the playoff game, so it'll be very interesting to hear what he has to say. You can let us know what he's been saying when we talk to you again at half-time, and Stewie Byrne's going to be back as well. We'll talk to you soon, John.
Yeah. Thanks, Nathan.
We've had some great days and great nights and good memories. I hope that the people of Ireland have got... I know that they've got the memories. I know they cherish them, and I know that they've enjoyed the days that when they've done something that they've never done before. They go to a World Cup as part